Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk about how the hell Igor Karkaroff not only got a teaching job but a headmaster's position in one of the top wizarding schools in Europe, Durmstrang Institute. I believe it's a question that goes relatively unanswered because this man was a nasty piece of work and he fooled absolutely nobody, either that he renounced his old Death Eater ways. Karkaroff is notorious amongst the Death Eater ranks for his open and public betrayal of so many of them in exchange for his immediate release. The entire reason that Karkaroff even joined the Death Eaters was to be able to torture Muggles and Muggle-borns while still maintaining self-preservation under the protection of the Dark Lord. There's not much else to it. This man is pretty one-dimensional and has no real morality within his character. So let's just go to the trial for a moment, okay? All of the Death Eaters, the followers, the sympathizers of Voldemort who have participated in some sort of action under his name are all being sentenced to life imprisonment in Azkaban. That's the punishment, nothing else, unless the Death Eaters on trial can provide information to the Ministry that can assist them in capturing more Death Eaters. So let's just evaluate this condition for release. We have a Death Eater on trial who has been captured for the crimes of being a Death Eater, harming, torturing, murdering, conspiring to overthrow the Ministry, you name it, that's what they have been captured for. Igor Karkaroff is a danger to society because of his behaviour and he will suffer the consequences. That's a good judicial system, right? So let's add in a stipulation. If this person on trial for being a Death Eater can provide the Ministry of Magic with information that would lead to the definite capture of more Death Eaters, then that criminal will be granted an immediate release. That's like saying, hey Ted Bundy, we know you've killed over 30 people, but if you give us John Wayne Gacy's location, we'll let you go scot-free. No questions asked. Go ahead. It's just a complete contradiction, and I still can't believe that this was the case with Igor Karkaroff. Anyway, Karkaroff's pre-selected scapegoats of Dolohov, Rosier, Travers, Mulciber and Snape were of no interest to the baying jury. Only when he played his high-value card, that of Ministry of Magic infiltrator Augustus Rookwood, did the esteemed assembly take notice. He was still sent back to Azkaban to be at the mercy of his old friends, the Dementors. However, most importantly, Karkaroff was set free and the double agent Rookwood ousted from his position in the highly sensitive Department of Mysteries and sentenced to life in Azkaban in Karkaroff's place. Karkaroff made his way towards Europe, where he began to rebuild his life and took a teaching job at Durmstrang. Now, as he had no previous teaching experience, it's not entirely clear as to if he worked his way up, or if he was just appointed headmaster, or if he was just given the job directly with no questions asked. I'm not sure. But anyway, what I am sure of is that it was 13 years between his release and his appearance at the 1994 Triwizard Tournament, so my guess is that he held the Dark Arts teaching position before gaining promotion to headmaster, but as I said, it's just a guess, guys, don't quote me on that. The question is, how did he even get a foot in the door after standing trial and being convicted as a Death Eater despite his release? Well, not everyone viewed Death Eaters the way the British government did. A lot of people across Europe actually thought that what Voldemort was trying to do was valiant. A lot of people in Europe are also anti-Muggle and anti-Muggle-borns, and a lot of those people came from Durmstrang. Durmstrang was an institution that actively discriminated against Muggle-borns. Having an ex-Death Eater as headmaster wouldn't be seen as problematic, as Death Eaters supported an anti-Muggle agenda. Durmstrang also really appealed to him. He liked that it had a bad reputation, a dark reputation. Even Draco Malfoy bragged about how his father wanted to send him to Durmstrang, where they teach active dark arts, not just defense against the dark arts. And having a Death Eater as headmaster like Karkaroff wouldn't be so bad either. Draco's actual account of the school is as follows. Father actually considered sending me to Durmstrang rather than Hogwarts. You know, he knows the headmaster, you see. Well, you know his opinion of Dumbledore. The man's such a mudblood lover. And Durmstrang doesn't admit that sort of riffraff. But Mother didn't like the idea of me going to school so far away, Father says. Durmstrang takes a far more sensible line than Hogwarts about the dark arts. Durmstrang students actually learn them, not just the defense rubbish we do. Depending how far into the dark arts the school was, having a Death Eater on staff might have been considered an advantage. It would be a stretch to assume Durmstrang didn't know Karkaroff was an ex-Death Eater. His Death Eater activities were public knowledge, and news of his conditional release was not hidden either. There's no way that Durmstrang didn't know that he was an ex-Death Eater when he was initially hired. That's my belief. Now, it's not to say his appointment did not go without protest. Many parents withdrew their children from the school when learning of Igor's new position, and despite the school's dark reputation, many of the students and their parents had admirable morals. Victor Crumb himself loaded former student and former Dark Wizard Gellert Grindelwald for his crimes and strongly disagreed with what he did to Muggles. Even the sight of the Deathly Hallows symbols sickens him. Even as Headmaster Karkaroff was an over-the-top, strict disciplinarian who openly encouraged an atmosphere of fear and intimidation at Durmstrang while it was under his leadership. There was also rumours that both he and Lucius Malfoy had some sort of an illegal influence over the school's governing body. Possibly the Imperius Curse was used in order to secure Igor the position. What I do believe is that despite the man being favoured by those who were anti-Muggle supporters, some sort of corruption shadowed his appointment. Sure, look at Lucius Malfoy himself. He didn't need to work, he was rich beyond anyone's wildest dreams, but somehow managed to work his way towards a very high ministry position, and more notably, he was on the board of the Hogwarts School Governors. He even managed to have Dumbledore removed from his position during the Chamber of Secrets book. It actually seems that the entire magical community, no matter the sector, is corrupt. Igor also knew that he would be safe in Durmstrang Castle, away from the open magical world. He was terrified of Voldemort. He knew that if the Dark Lord ever returned, that he would be hunted down and surely killed. He also knew that there was several Death Eaters who were still very angry about his deceit, so he was definitely on the radar. He showed us all of his true colours and his desire for self-preservation when he fled Hogwarts as soon as he felt the burn of Voldemort's call on his left arm. With that being said, he also knew he had a position of power, and at one point seemed very proud that he had the responsibility to protect the integrity of the school. And with that being said, guys, that is my take on how Igor Karkaroff became headmaster. As always, if you want to add in something down below, then please do so. I'm always interested to hear your own opinions. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all in the next video, and make sure to hit that like button, otherwise Dobby the house elf will be brought back to life and be forced to relive his death all over again. So if you don't want that to happen to Dobby, then make sure to hit this like button. See you soon.